not my problem. It's not my problem. When I'm feeling this metal, and I'm pissed and I'm when I lie and I'm missing all of the time, but I'm never sure why I need you. Please let me shout.
All right. Welcome to the Prospect Podcast, an intimate edition today. Me and Coach D are on with no guest, which could end up being, we'll see how it goes. Could end up being really, or it could be different, right? But yeah, it's, I'm here, I'm Coach Human. I'm here with Coach D, and we're on a Monday edition. We just had a gigantic monster snowstorm here in New Jersey, which actually across the country is this
Pretty
whole
much.
snowstorm. Like, we're Russia now. Have you seen any of the videos of like these like far? What would you say it is? North? It would be east, maybe. I guess. What would that be? That would be the northeast version of Russia, and these like towards Siberia, they have like 5.5 feet.
Yeah, where it's like above houses.
Yeah, of snow. Yeah, like stoplights, you see like this, and they've had it a couple times. So they have like 10 feet piled on top
I
of each
think
other.
like Juneau, Alaska's gotten a shit
Oh,
ton.
really? Yeah,
To like
well,
where it's like not what they're used to, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just this was a little interesting. I just always think the paranoia that goes into it is kind of funny. There's nothing on the shelves. People like, how much how much bread can you eat? How much freaking milk can you drink in like 24 hours? It's like what? It's like, okay, if you're not prepared for that, if you can't survive in your house for one day, like, but hey, tis their own.
Beans in their house. All you gotta do is, if you really got desperate, you take the beans, you put them in the pan, and you heat them up.
Cook them up.
Beans have protein. They have carbs. They're pretty good.
Everything you got.
I like to like in the old West when those guys would be out there on the at the campfire. They just eat like
that's it.
beans.
Like, I mean, everybody's it's like you don't need. It's just because people are bougie and they need to have certain things. It's like if you can't survive on the bare minimums for 24 hours, like, come on, man.
My Dunkin' Donuts was open yesterday morning. I still went.
It was early. I mean,
I got my truck out. Just drove right over there. No one's on the road.
Before it all hit. Yeah, nobody was because everybody.
No, it had hit already. It was probably like noon. I would say it was probably noon.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you were in it, yeah.
Yeah. But truck you can kind of get through.
Yeah, you're good.
What'd you think of the games yesterday? Did you watch them?
I did. Denver was interesting. Like, I don't know. Obviously, kick a field goal. Like, that's just my philosophy. I don't know. Take points when you should have points.
And then it snowed. It cost them the game.
And then because you just don't know like where it's coming from or what's going to happen. I that was kind of the whole gist of it. I don't understand
the whole like. You don't need 7. If it's a high school,
7-0 at the time.
High school game, you have a very average kicker.
That's different.
It's totally different. Like
this guy, this is closer than it was like closer than an extra point, right? Or at least somewhere within all right, this is just take it and go. And for a guy like Sean Payton to not do, you know what I mean? Like,
did they look at
some
these
guys
analytics?
Just get caught up? I don't know, man. I was that's what I was questioning. Like, maybe it's too much of this. Like, here's the sheet. This is what we do. You know what I mean? Or maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe it's sometimes it's like, we got a good feel. Like,
You got to me with like analytics, AI, or it's all similar. Like it's all utilizing those kind of things, right? What is analytics analytics originally used an algorithm, probably now is using both an algorithm and AI, right, for the pros. And so you still have to look at it and say, does this make sense, right? Like a I would go so far as to say like 9 out of 10 times the computer's probably right. But when you get in these tight situations in a game,
there's still that element of human.
You have to, you got to look at it and say, does this make actually rational sense?
Plus, to add to it, I'm sure there's no way that there's not some guy on the sideline that's like, hey, we're supposed to get snow in an hour or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like
it's gonna snow in the fourth period.
Like it's Denver, so like I don't know, man. Like it's just there's always. That's what I think. Even with all the AI, even with the analytics type of stuff, like there's still that like feel of the game type of flow. How your team, you know what I mean? Like you're going with like, hey, like this isn't our starting quarterback. Maybe we should take the points. To me, it's not even a question, right? Like you flip on the headset and the head coach is like, hey, can we hit this? Like, yeah, it's an extra point. Take the points. Like, but I don't know, man. Everybody's going to do their own thing. And look, if they won the game, we don't give a shit, right? But because it cost you, I do like the Vrabel story and I do like the Pats. I hate saying that because for so long it was like, but I just think the turnaround. I like Vrabel, though. I really do. I thought he got a shit deal in Tennessee.
Right, because he had done well. And because the NFL is just, like you could do very well for a bunch of years. And then
doesn't matter.
They might just get tired of you or they may tired
like a Tomlin.
Traded Tomlin for McCarthy? What?
Buddy, I don't. That's an eye opener of like.
I mean, he'll win you 9 games. Look, McCarthy's
average. He'll bring you there. He'll put you where you want to be. Right, but I'm talking like
he's doing that anyway. So they just wanted to change the voice.
Same with Harbaugh. But I'll tell you what, like, I actually like Harbaugh enough to like. I don't know, man. Like, I guess my affiliation will now be with the Giants. Because like if somebody asks me who do you like, I'm probably going to say, well, I follow the Giants because I like Harbaugh. You know what I mean? Like I've always done that. Like I did the same thing with the Jets when they had Rex Ryan.
I think the
being in our backyard doesn't matter.
I think Harbaugh will change. I think he'll do well. I think the will he get the Giants to the Super Bowl? Like I don't know if for Harbaugh that time has passed almost as a
right.
But he, like I said, like he's gonna get him. I think he'll get him to the
playoffs. Definitely.
I just think that there's
the pieces that are there, dude, are freaking.
And you do need, you need you got some pieces. I think you need a new voice. It's interesting the guys that got to the Super Bowl, Vrabel and McDonald.
I've done a lot. I looked at like McDonald's. It's pretty awesome.
He didn't even play in
college. He literally was like, "Coach,
dude,
I'm gonna go
telling
coach."
You guys,
and to have,
the game. You guys who played the game. You guys are getting squeezed out, man. Like it's guys who.
But it's actually kind of funny because you have Vrabel, the ultimate NFL guy, though, right? Like the ultimate player. Right. So you have that on one side,
right.
And then you have the new age, never played against each other, and they're both. I mean, it's pretty cool. I know Vrabel, if he wins, will be the first coach ever to have won Super Bowls as a player and a coach with the same franchise. Like that's a cool stat.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I also think
he was a great player,
dude.
And
he's got like 10 catches and I think 9 of them are touchdowns and shit. Like he's the guy who used to bust Brady's balls. Like I love that too.
And he's a CEO coach. So,
But I also love the fact that he changed, right? Because there's a great story about like when he first interviewed with Urban Meyer at Ohio State. And it was and Urban Meyer tells the story of it was an absolute complete like disaster.
As a coach, you mean?
When he interviewed to like be on Urban's staff, he had been there before. When Urban came in, he was like, all right, you know,
he played there. He played Ohio State. Yeah.
But he kind of was on that, like, I played here. I was in the NFL. I won Super Bowls, was just trying to do like approach it in that way. Like I'm who I am. And like he totally like bombed this interview to a point where I think like Urban tells the story and he's like, look, he stopped me in the middle of it and was like, look, you are not prepared for this. Like, you don't want to go out this way. Come back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. and we'll redo this. I'm giving you one more shot. And it was kind of like, oh shit. And Vrabel like went, put it all together, and then obviously like worked for him or whatever. But I think like hearing stories like that of like, I think it's so cool because it's like we've all been there of like, whoa, like I ain't ready for this smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then to change, and then look, like he was an assistant for a while in college. Then he was with like the Texans as an assistant, right? And then finally got his shot. And then look, he could have like went in the tank and never went back to it ever again. And then, you know, resurfaces, took a year off, I think. Yeah. Like, and just, no, he didn't take I guess he went and he helped out with the Browns. Like he was like what an analyst or whatever, you know, some of that, like no formal title, but he went and I mean, shit, you work with the Browns. Like that's an eye-opening experience for anybody. I think. Like, but you know, but I just like stories like that, dude. And I think like, I always relate it. Like if I was a player, you'd want to play for him. Like I would.
Oh yeah, he definitely because he cool. Well, he knows what it's like.
Which is, I think a lot of players respect that a lot more. Of like, look, you've been through it, right?
You're either going to be
more receptive to what he says.
You're either going to be in that mode, or you're going to have to be like these McDonald or what's the guy was at Miami where they think you're like. A football nerd, meaning like you're a savant.
McDaniel.
Yeah, McDaniel. Yeah, where they so like
although you look at McDonald and you look at McDaniel, and they're two totally different nerds.
Totally different styles, yeah. McDaniel,
Chris Partridge is on the Chris Partridge is on the Seattle Seahawks staff.
Yeah,
right?
I saw that. Yeah, what does he coach for them?
Outside backers, I think.
Okay.
Apparently the new guy that's in our building worked with the D-line coach there as well with the Seahawks. So that's cool. I always like to see those relationships of like firsthand who worked with who and whatever. And
your new coach, you mean, or new?
Yeah, our new coach that's with us. He was the head coach at Heightstown, but coached in college for a bunch of years. Ryan Fullen.
Okay.
He's a defensive guy. He just started. He resigned there, and now he's teaching with us. What's that? He's teaching in our building. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Closer to home, you know?
Got it. Oh, is he a brick guy or something?
No, he's actually a Tom's River guy. He went to Donovan.
Where is Heightstown?
South, like closer down that way. It's like I think West New Jersey Football League. But he was at Wagner for a little while, Cortland. You know, he did the whole college. He did the college gamut for a little bit. Defensive guy. I mean, really an offensive guy, really an everything guy, but. I always like getting head coaches in the building. That's a good thing. He's coaching indoor track right now.
That's what he does. He's a correct.
Well, he's like an assistant. You know what I mean? He's like, wait, what do we have open here in Brick? Sure, I'll go be an assistant. He's
so
awesome.
The explosion of these of the speed guys. Oh my God! Like all over Instagram, it's actually more than. It's more than it used to be. All the wide receiver, there's still a lot of wide receiver stuff, but like
it's all speed guys now, bro.
Oh my God,
dude, it's unbelievable.
I get it. Plyometrics.
And I don't know if it's the algorithm. Right? I'm sure the algorithm
yeah.
has something to do with it.
Yeah,
but at the
yeah, I'm
same
sure it
time,
is.
dude,
I'm sure it's feeding us because we're now.
I
doing
mean,
some-
oh, absolutely. I will tell you this. This is a really cool one I got this weekend too. Is Mike Smith hit me up and he said, like, direct quote of like Summerall, the new guy at Florida,
Coach,
just took
you mean?
over University of Florida.
yeah,
Yeah, the new head
that's the
coach
Tulane
from
guy?
Tulane. Yep, from
Yeah.
Tulane. He goes, buddy,
Great. He's great.
get ready. He's like, it's gonna be Florida and Miami. He goes, the one who should be really, really nervous is Florida State. Like,
Florida State's.
I mean, and look, and the second, obviously, Mike hit me up with that and said that to me, you know, now I'm getting all the Florida stuff. And look, he's already like, he's gone in there and he's like they're not allowed, like, there's no Gator logo on any of their winter workout gear. He goes, you got to earn the Gator logo. So he's already like, it's only says Florida or it's like, you know, UF or it's nothing with a Gator logo. So cool. Like, dude, it's better when the Gators are better. Like when the Gators are good, dude, it makes me so happy because I was a Steve Spurrier fan. Like I loved all that, you know, early mid 90s, late 90s, like Danny Werfel, all that kind of stuff, dude. Like I liked all of that. Like I was a Gator fan, I think, before I was a Miami fan. So I think, you know, that's going to be a really cool thing if he can bring it back and sustain it until he just gets a better job, I'm sure. But, you know, like to hear Mike say that, you know, because I know Mike's a really tough critic when it comes to it, and he's been around it, obviously, with all those types of players and whatnot. But he must have had guys that were there on visits this weekend and whatnot. And he was like, look, it's just, I can already tell, like, it's going to be different. It's not just the same old of those guys that have gone in and, you know, the Rolodex of Florida Gator coaches in the last couple of years.
They had some big names, but it wasn't. Like
and I know they're putting money into the stadium, like up in all. Yeah, I mean, because it's like, dude, I mean, I was there back in the day, like, and it's kind of, you know, older, but you know what I mean? And you know how all these stadiums are now, dude. I mean, Penn State just put a lot of money into it. Like that stuff. I mean, hell, most of the guys we talk about how the facilities are a big piece to the puzzle nowadays, right? And we all know that, like, same type of thing. And I did see too that UConn has like 70 something new dudes on the roster, or 55 dudes on the, the new head coach announced like a whole, like, dude, there was like, I think it was like 50 new names on the roster.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, they got some bigger prospects, but
that's going to be key for them.
Yeah, their schedule is a little better this year. I mean, last year their schedule was like a cakewalk. So, they didn't win 9 games.
But I think that's part of like building it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously you got to schedule, like, you know, you got to play your conference and whatever that is. But I think those out of conference games or out of division games, well, they're independent, right?
Yeah, they that's the issue.
That's hard in itself.
Have to get in the conference. They have to get in the conference.
Do you think they're more like ACC?
Yeah, they should go. They should be in the ACC. They should be in the ACC. Actually, the truth is,
no doubt.
The truth is, I hate to say this, but like Rutgers is so bad, and I'm not just talking about football. Maybe basketball. Maybe last year they were terrible at basketball. I don't know if they're terrible this year again, but
they're not very good at basketball.
They're not adding to the Big Ten. Like UConn, legitimately.
If anything, they're taking away.
If we were in this is the difference between UConn and Rutgers, bar none. Because of Rutgers, the way New Jersey people are, okay, and the way they view Rutgers, it's always going to be hard, right? Am I wrong? Or am I right? It's always going to be hard. Like, unless they figured out a way to change Rutgers' name to make it more Jersey pride-ish type of deal, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. So I don't know.
I think the State University of New Jersey, right? Like they've tried to like throw that in there and whatnot, but like, dude, like it's just a really hard history to overcome of just not good ball. I don't know any
No.
other way to put it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. Indiana did it though, but so it can be done. You have to have enough money. You have to have enough interest.
But
The
Indiana could
big
rely.
difference in Indiana is a state. So the big difference between New Jersey and Indiana, even though New Jersey football in high schools is
But
is good,
Indiana, even though
they
it's not the
care.
same sport, they had basketball as a winning tradition to rely on.
correct. Right. That's why I think UConn. So that's my rationale for
UConn
UConn.
can use men's
UConn
or
has
women's
men's and women's basketball. They would be the best in the Big Ten if they came right in there. Wouldn't matter. And both women and men.
Did I see something that
probably
Hurley
would
was
end up
like
getting more recruits. They would probably get even more. They're getting all the recruits and they're in a crappy Big East. They would get.
do you remember what the Big East used to be for hoops? Though, bro?
I used to be, yeah, because when it had the football schools, it was better. When it had Pittsburgh, when it had Miami, when it had who am I missing?
You had Rutgers, you
Syracuse,
and then you had like your basketball only schools like Georgetown, Seton
Villanova.
Hall, Villanova. Like,
Yeah.
you won the big. Remember those Big East tournaments at Madison Square
they were great.
Garden? Like, dude,
It's not
like,
the same.
not even close. Not even close.
And the problem is,
I'll tell you
UConn-
what's crazy, dude. I saw a statistic that when Darrell, because Darrell Revis got in, when Larry Fitzgerald and who was the crazy D lineman that retired 2 years ago? AJ or Donald, right? Whatever. Aaron Donald. When those two guys go in the Hall of Fame, the University of Pittsburgh will have like the third most NFL Hall of Famers in college football, or you know what I mean? Like, I was like, that was eye-opening to me. Obviously, that earlier era, I guess, like your Tony Dorsett's of the world, like Pitt used to be Pitt. Like, they were like, you didn't mess with.
Well, it was
Pitt.
Johnny Majors. So Johnny Majors, who ended up going to Tennessee after he was
right.
Tony Dorsett at Pitt. He is Pitt. So I'm doing only reason I know some of these things is I'm doing a like short clips with AI on every national champion.
It's awesome.
From the very first 18, I'm up to 1940. I'm up to 1950s. My next one. So
you just went through like the whole like army.
Yes. No. Right. 1870.
Like Army, Notre Dame, right? Like,
so I could tell you the whole eras, like 1870 to like basically 1900 was Ivy League. I mean, there might have been one.
Well, because obviously
Michigan
that's where it all
won
started,
one
right? Like, that's
there.
where it all really kind of started there.
Yeah, and I start seeing these names. So as the coaches, I'm like, oh, Walter Camp, Fielding Yost, which was
And you're like, okay.
That's
you're like, oh, this makes sense. Like, oh, this makes sense.
Amos Alonzo Stagg was Chicago.
Like, oh, that's why that's
Chicago.
named after that. Or
Pop Warner is a Carlisle Indians with Jim Thorpe. I like you learn
two different shoes.
But it's amazing because you're like.
I also think
like
that
who coached Jim Thorpe, the great athlete? Oh, it was Pop Warner.
But it's funny, like I guarantee, like I think only because it happened here in New Jersey, but like most people couldn't tell you like where football started. Like, there's no historians like that of the game where guys know that was kind of things anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or just like the whole like Teddy Roosevelt thing of like he had to literally go in and be like, look, fellas, like we got to change this game because like there's too many people. Like, people are dying. Like, we've had how many fatalities in this game? Like, let's change. Like, we got to change something.
Yeah, that was like the University of Chicago used that stuff. That was Amos Alonzo Stagg.
Chicago
Carlisle
has a huge piece to this puzzle. Like the University of Chicago, which actually where Al Natoli's son is playing right now, which is really obviously.
They wear the old school C uniforms. They wear the uniforms from back when it was Amos
And
Longo's.
obviously, I'm clueless, but like I didn't realize how high of an academic university that is.
Oh,
Like,
great
holy
school.
shit! Like, you know, that's really cool too to like see how it, you know, it's by Michigan and all these other school, like, you know what I mean, like the Midwest, Notre
Well, it
Dame,
shifted.
and you know,
So it was
Right.
interesting. The most interesting thing about it was the shift. So the shift in the 1920s, it started to shift to the Notre Dame, Newt Rockne, Michigan, Pittsburgh. This is why I bring up Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was a power in the 1920s and 19 teens. And then Ohio State was a power. They had a legendary coach that won. I think they won in the 20s, maybe. And then Notre Dame, which I mentioned. Chicago was good for a million years. And then I'm trying to think of who else it was. Army and Navy were always pretty good. And then it gets to the 1930s, which is basically like Michigan. Michigan's a power with Fielding Yost. And then Notre Dame is good, but like the 40s becomes Army and Notre Dame. Army and Notre Dame are the powers. Notre Dame wins like a bunch of championships in the 40s. Army wins a few, and obviously that's during World War II. And that Notre Dame's coach is Frank Leahy. I forgot the name of the coach for Army, but they had Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And but they were
that
like,
stuff's cool. I like that stuff.
yeah,
I think
it's
that stuff's
cool. So then the 50s will change because the 50s becomes, I think, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is already so Alabama wins one, I think, in the 20s. That's when that's when they start to emerge. That's like the first teams in the South to become powers are Alabama and Texas A&M.
Right.
So Texas A&M and Texas A&M might have won in the 30s. It's all like they all get a famous, what becomes a famous coach. The stadium that's Alabama's named after now, I believe, is named after that coach. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. Alabama Stadium name. Yes. Pretty sure Brian Denny. Maybe I can't remember now. It's slipped my mind. But they had a coach. The name I recognized it from Wallace Wade. Maybe might have been their coach, or is that what Duke is named after? Wallace Wade coached where? Oh yeah, yes, it is Wallace Wade. So here's what's crazy. So Wallace Wade won championships in like the late 20s, early. I can't remember if he won the 30s too, but he wins Alabama's first championship. Okay. And a lot of them are unofficial back then because there's like a bunch of different services.
Right.
So it's really like they go back now, or like a bunch of them claim championships. So, but Wallace Wade, the stadium in Duke is named Wallace Wade Stadium. So I'm trying to think. He must have went to Duke after he won at Alabama, is my guess. So, but he became famous at Alabama. So, which is interesting. And you see these names, I'm like, oh, I hear that stadium name. Where is he?
Yep.
You know, that's all these famous coaches that are long like gone. I always wonder, like, why did they name it that stadium? I never looked it up. And all of a sudden, I'm doing this thing, and it's like, oh wow, this guy was the coach.
You're like, oh, that's why.
Yep. So it's very interesting. The 50s, I think, is becomes Oklahoma.
Right.
And
they kind of have their, like, you know, welcome to the table.
That's their start. Yep. But it's very interesting because Newt Rockne basically was the first to use the forward pass and like tempo.
Yes.
And
that just changed everything from there.
Yeah, and then there was now it slips my mind, but someone invented the single wing. It was I can't remember if it was Texas A&M. It might have been. And
Now is that Texas A&M with Bear Bryant,
no, but
like
this is
Junction
before-
Boys?
This is before Bear Bryant. So Bear Bryant's the 50s, I want to say, comes in there. I'm not up to
That's cool,
them yet. But yeah, that surprised me because I always thought that he was the first to win was Bear Bryant because I just didn't know. But it was what's this? I think this guy's name was a fairly famous name too. Who was it again? It was in the third. It was 1939 that they won. It was
Yeah, so you're like smack in the middle of World War II.
right. What the hell is his name? Homer.
What year?
It was Homer Norton. You know what? But I think he like invented like the single wing or something like that. I want to say he was single wing.
You said you're where at the 50s?
I'm not. I just finished 49, so I'm up to. I don't know if I posted.
So now
49.
you got like
I'm up to the 50s.
so like so like 50 is Oklahoma, 51 is Tennessee. Then you have Michigan State, Maryland.
See, that's
50
the rise of the South because
54 has UCLA and Ohio State. Then you got Oklahoma for 2 years, Ohio State, Auburn, LSU, Iowa, Syracuse in 59. Like now you're starting to see
Oklahoma has
that.
a legendary coach. Syracuse had that's probably Ernie Davis.
59.
Because Jim Brown did not win when he was there. He did not win the national championship. But
Right.
but if you
Then
watch,
you get the 60s.
you probably
and-
watched the Ernie Davis movie, right?
Oh yeah, it was a great movie. What
Great
was that?
movie.
Express, the Express. Is that what
Yeah,
it
that
was?
coach is a great. It's like Schwartz. It's like SCH.
Yeah, Schwartz. Yeah. I think he was he Jewish?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So then 1960. You got Minnesota and Mississippi.
He might have
right?
been German. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Then you have Alabama, Ohio State. Then 1962, USC, and then 63 is now you see Texas come into the mold, right? 64 has 3. It says here on this. I'm on NCAA.com, and it says Alabama, Arkansas, and Notre Dame.
Ben
Then you have
Schwarzenegger. That sounds Jewish.
That's it. Then you have Michigan State for 65 with Alabama, 66, Notre Dame and Michigan State. Then you got USC, Ohio State, Texas, Nebraska, Texas,
Nope.
Ohio State.
He's
So
German.
Ohio State really starts to come up and start to hammer away.
So Ben Schwarzenegger is German.
80 is Georgia, 81.
But you know what's
Clemson.
interesting because I always thought that
82.
what was interesting about that movie is many people accuse Schwarzenegger or whatever of being
Racist.
racist, but
Right.
he's a very difficult for that time period. He was a very brilliant coach, and like I would say he reminds me of like a kind of like not a socially
Right. Like
Not a-
he kind of beat it. He was beating to his own drum at the time. And look, there was obvious. I mean,
There wasn't a lot of those guys back. A lot of those
numerous
guys.
stories
were
about those
personable.
guys taking a lot of shit for that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and
most
we
of
gotta
them were
understand what the
personable
South.
back then because
Right. I
you
mean,
know,
and look, like, didn't Go ahead. No, go ahead. In order to just be functional.
No, I
in
think
that
back
era.
then the coaches back then were more, even though they were tough, hard drivers, they were usually personable because the way that football was, like you kind of the people had easy access to you, like you would sit down with them, and you know, so I think
Well,
it was
because that was the
unusual.
only way to interview people was face to face, dude, with a pen and
It was
paper,
all-
and then it
you had
came
to be
out in the
personal. I
paper.
think he was unusual for that time. Now
Right.
you would find a lot. You find a lot more of those guys
Yes.
because even though they're more in front of the camera, just because maybe the creativity needed, I don't know, but you find a lot more of these guys that are not like quote unquote. Although I still think like a lot of them are pretty good in front of the camera, but there's a lot more of these like socially awkward coaches that coach the guys really well, but are not necessarily the greatest in front of the camera.
Right,
Whereas back then they were all, I thought, very good talking. Like They were teachers more of like, you know what I'm saying? They were more like
They were
teachers.
used to being in front and having to, you know what I mean? Like
They were teachers first, right?
correct. Like they could command a room, right? Like they
Yes,
could just
they're different than that's why he was
Absolutely.
odd. And I think that was
Right.
I don't think he would fight back if someone accused him of something. You know what I mean? Like he
He
you
just
know,
went
he
with it
also
because he's like,
understood
"This is
the
what it
world.
is."
He also understood the world that Jim Brown and Ernie Davis were in. So he would tell them, don't go fraternizing with, you
Right.
know,
A white girl.
white girl because I don't want, but, that would definitely be considered as being racist, but he may have been more thinking, let's not ruin your chances of being successful here. Right. But he
Right.
wasn't a good communicator. So that would come across probably.
Right, because if you do that, dude, like you're not gonna have like they're not gonna let you win the Heisman, which that was
Ernie
probably a big
Davis didn't
deal.
want to, Ernie Davis didn't really want to go there because of that reputation, but Jim Brown was like,
No, go here.
you should go here. Like this guy, like he may be some of these things, but he's gonna help you get to where you want to be. I mean, Jim Brown, I don't know why they haven't done a movie on Jim Brown. He's an amazing
Lacrosse, baby.
not just athlete, but like what he did in life was amazing. Like, you know, like he would push
I at first
to help
I
black
only,
people. He really
yeah,
pushed.
dude, I just knew him as
But he
like
was
a,
also tough on them too. He was also tough on them, but he would push to help them. And like,
I mean,
he was
shit,
one of
he's
the
like
first people.
he did a lot of movies and stuff.
He did movies. He left football to be an actor. He was he's such a unique person, you
like
know,
a
like,
Renaissance man before that was
yes,
the normal shit to do. Like he had other interests. Other than,
fascinating.
like, yeah, dude, it's really cool. I think
He
that
did
shit's
like
really cool.
I know it sounds crazy. He did like an almost nude layout on a cover magazine. You
Like
know, like
a Playgirl.
you know, they had to make sure they had a book big enough to cover everything.
Yeah, dude, I mean, but he was also like physical specimen of like he was a monster. Moving that
if you
fast,
were to,
that
like,
big.
say the greatest athletes.
Yeah. I think that's
He's
always in the
definitely one of
argument.
the greatest athletes. Like if Jim Thorpe, him, Bo Jackson.
Because like you don't think of those guys back in the day because they were only, you know what I mean? Like you didn't have the access to that. Like you look at guys like, hey, if you had gone a different route, could you have been a professional in a different sport? Like I bet a lot of these guys, right? Which then goes
Jackie Robinson could have, yeah,
dude, which
football
goes back to the whole argument of like multiple sports and you just, you know, like go this way, go that, like who knows, dude? Like, you know, like who knows? Or like even like the Bo Jackson situation of like somebody told him the wrong shit and then all of a sudden you couldn't play college baseball anymore because you took a visit here and whatever, and it just you got back to Auburn and they're like, you can't play baseball anymore. And he's like, what do you mean? Like baseball's my number one thing. Like, you know, like all that kind of stuff. Like I think everybody forgets that Deion was like that guy too. You know what
Deion
I'm
was
saying? Like
phenomenal.
freak of
Ridiculous
nature, dude. Like playing in a freaking football game and then going and playing in a playoff game for baseball. Like guys don't understand how hard this shit is. Like you guys focus on one sport in 6th grade and can't do both. Like these guys are doing it in the league. Like, wow. I don't think you'll ever see that again.
I don't think you're going to. I think two things. I think because of training is so involved, they could build up their body. So even if you were a better athlete than everybody else, these other people are training their bodies. So it's hard to compete in the same level. There are some guys, you know, who was Drake May. Drake May could have played basketball in college. He was, where'd he go? UNC, right?
Yes.
If you ever pull up his clips of him in high school as a basketball player,
he was a freak. I've seen him. He was a freak. And basketball is harder than other, like, I don't know. To me,
he was
be a really high level basketball player. I don't know. Jameis Winston was a great baseball guy.
Great baseball.
Russell Wilson.
They played both in college. The quarterback for the Cardinals played both.
Yeah, your guy.
Kyler Murray. He played both.
They still don't have a head coach. Like one of the first to fire their guys still don't have a head coach. Fucking Arizona. Always a disaster. Always a disaster.
Always a disaster.
Isn't that crazy though? That like even like
it's amazing actually now. Those guys, the fact that those guys did do 2 sports in today's era is pretty amazing. I think baseball, football is possible still.
And we don't talk about guys that are high level like track.
Charlie
guys.
Ward,
dude. Now that's a whole.
That's the 90s. That was still possible then.
Look. Santana Moss running track at Miami. Like
I think you don't
football
track or football baseball.
I was just gonna say because of I think the seasons and how they don't really smash into each other. Because if you think about basketball and football, like college basketball, I mean, dude, they're doing Midnight Madness on Halloween. You know what I'm saying?
The last basketball guy, you know who did it? Who is one of the freaks of all time?
Oh yeah. Well, listen,
Julius Peppers,
2 of them, and who was their quarterback? Because he did it too. The quarterback at the time,
Curry, Ronald Curry.
So that was when Duke, North Carolina was like Shane Battier, and you know what I mean. Like that was I remember that being like,
Ron
this
Curry,
guy's. I remember like looking at this freak Peppers and being like, that dude's a freak, and they're like, yeah, he's like one of the best defensive linemen, like in college football. And I
know what he was in high school? Who his position was in high school? He was a tailback.
Who else was I? You remember DJ Williams, outside linebacker for the Broncos, was a University of Miami guy. He went to Long Beach Poly. Apparently, he was an unbelievable running back in high school.
Yes, that's what he was. He went there as a running back,
like number 1 recruit. But listen, when you get there and it's Frank Gore, Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee.
They made him a fullback.
Just like our buddy Wilbur Valdez from Union City. Yeah. Like, hey, you're the best running back in Jersey from Hoboken, but you go down here and you're blocking for Edgerrin James. Like, okay. And then, hey, go be a linebacker. Valdez's story and your story are literally like carbon copies.
Yes, he just played at a higher level. But yes.
Must have been that Hoboken. And also Hoboken wasn't Group 1
Hoboken
back then.
was a small school back then. They were Group 1.
Dude.
Well, I brought up on our podcast. I think
I remember Hoboken playing Ramapo when Sims was there.
Is he my age or is he younger?
Mid 90s.
Oh, he might be a little younger than me then.
A little younger than you, I think.
So when I was in high school, Hoboken had a running back. He was a little older than me. I don't know what happened to him. He went to Division 1 but didn't work out. His name was
had a really good quarterback.
Rashard Casey. Right? He had this guy Rashard. Yeah, they had
Parlavecchio?
No. Quarterback was
Didn't he go to Notre Dame?
The running back was this kid Rashard Casey. And I remember seeing the stats because like I would always look up, where I rank in the touchdowns. And I saw in one game, Rashard Casey in one game, scored 9 touchdowns.
Jesus, dude.
He scored. I wonder if that was at the time was maybe the state record. I don't know if it still is, but he scored 9 touchdowns. I remember seeing that and I was like, wow, I guess I'm not really not going to be close to the touchdown competition. So, but yeah, like since he scored 9 in a game, and I'm like, if I got 2 in a game, I was like, this was great, So he scored 9 a game. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe when I saw that. When I just saw like 9 in the game, the only thing I thought was either A, he was so much better than everybody else, or B, whoever they played was just god awful.
When you start diving into some of that stuff, dude, like I think it's really funny. Like. And now look, like you'll remember some of the names and whatnot, like career rushing yards in the state of New Jersey, like 7,500 by Joe Martinick Hapakon.
Oh, he was unbelievable.
But he was I can remember him being a freak show track kid, right?
Yeah, he threw the javelin like 200 feet.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and he ran the 100 in like 10-9.
Single season touchdowns, 46.
Who's that? Is that him?
Naeem Mayfield from Manalapan, 2017.
I don't even know who that is.
Single game touchdowns, 12.
12. Who did that?
George Jeffries, Asbury Park, 1920.
1920. I wouldn't know who that is, obviously.
Thank you, AI.
Asbury Park probably back in the day was a.
Could you imagine what they used to be back in the day?
Because there probably wasn't high schools, as many high
100%.
schools. So they probably all went to Asbury Park High School. George Jefferson. They have on their stadium when you
Look,
come in. Asbury Park,
I always still like
Yeah,
I get
great
all
stadium.
I get all jacked. I still get all jacked up because I still have a record at Butler, and I think it's like I
5
like
touchdowns, right?
I have career interceptions.
Oh,
I'm like, damn, I had that many, but I was like, but then you look back and I'm like, yeah, well, like everybody always had to throw because we were winning. You know what I mean? So like I had more opportunities of doing it, right? And I started, every year I was there. So just that in itself, you know what I'm saying? Like even for how much people throw the ball now, like there ain't that I don't know. Like I doubt it, but it's one of those that's like, oh, I wonder if it'll, hold up. Or you kind of look at like
The
year
rushing.
to year. Like this year, the season leader for rushing yards this season was a kid from Livingston, and he had 2,300.
who really? Who was that? Was Livingston good?
Abel Paul. How about the passing yards? Kid from Sparta, Shane Hoover, 2,400.
2,400 is the leader. That's not that. That's not that.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like okay. Older records. It's like
I mean, when Micah Ford was in high school, he rushed for like 2,500 every year.
every year.
I don't know what his total numbers are, but they were sick. I remember looking.
Obviously, well, who do you think has the most career touchdowns in the state? Shore guy. My era.
Your era. Did he go big time or something? Oh, he did.
Think of your town.
Oh, I know who it is. It's Marino.
128.
He had 128 touchdowns in his high school career.
Yeah, I don't think I had over 20.
I had 28 in my high school career.
I never scored touchdowns, dude. It's fast enough.
You're a receiver. You're right. Were you running back or receiver? I thought you were receiver. Yeah.
No running back for this guy. No single back shit for
You're
this
built
guy.
like a running back. It's funny.
I was all the way until I got to high school.
Yeah.
And then I had to fight to not play quarterback because I was like, this shit. I'm like, I want to do this shit. This shit sucks. Like it's just miserable. Plus, I always was like, can't I just go tackle people?
Nowadays, I would have had you as the single back.
Well, that was what was kind of funny. Like getting recruited, like Springfield was like, dude, we want you to come and play like wing. Like, come be a running back. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't want, I was always like fighting guys. Like, can I go tackle people?
Yeah,
like, let me go stay over there. Let me get on that side, which was always a really funny thing. Cause like my dad was only an offensive guy for the most part. Like, like he was just an offensive guy. And I'm like, Dad, like, you taught me to hit people. And I like that. Like, I like to tackle people. Like, I said, and I know I'm going to play a lot more. Cause like they're not going to let an offensive guy run down on kickoff when there's all these other guys that, you know what I mean? Like, and I like doing that shit. So let me do that kind of stuff. But it was always really funny, especially through the recruiting process of like what position. Every school was different, dude. Like it had to be the first question I asked in when I was getting recruited. Like, all right, well, what side of the ball do you want me to play? Right. And I kept it kind of open. I never liked them like when they did the whole like, well, we're recruiting you as an athlete, and like because to me that told me each year was going to be like, okay, where are we putting him? You know what I'm saying? Like, or at least for the first two until I settled into whatever it was, or just in the back of their mind, it was always going to be like, well, if we need him to do this, he can go do that, which ended up happening at Montclair State. But that was, you know what I mean? Because I started as a receiver there and then go play corner, go play safety, like switching in the middle of the year. And about position changes, like that's really hard to jump to a different room, especially like whatever, like those guys had been there. It's like, where are you were on the other side wearing a different color jersey. Like who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
same thing with walking into camp being like, hey, go return kicks. And the guy that had been returning kicks for 5 days, like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like,
Are you
well, I'm obviously better than you, buddy. So, like, here we fucking go. Like, let's fight. Like, what do we want to do? Like, here,
No, that's incredible.
let's go.
I can't believe Sean Marino had 100. Is that the state record?
Career rec. Yeah. Yep.
That's an incredible amount in the touchdown.
And then the kid this year from Winslow broke the state record for career touchdown passes, 107, and he's got another year.
Wow.
Which is crazy because I watched our quarterback at Butler in the 90s break the single season record of like 50. It was like 50, you know, like, and that was like, oh shit. Like, which obviously back then throwing for 50 touchdowns in a
like
season.
Taller. Did you get
Right.
taller? Did you get taller? Can you go measure yourself up in that thing? I'm curious.
He's just been laying down for the last couple days.
Or you got slimmer. I don't know what it is.
Maybe he leaned up.
I must feel like you got taller. I don't know.
Career receiving touchdowns, 67.
Who owns that?
A kid from Millville.
Oh, Millville has great receivers all the time.
I'm trying to look at some of the older stuff. Like, oh, now this kid, career passing yards. The kid Leary from Timber Creek, he was a freak. He
was
has
great. He
9,600.
was great. Devin
Yeah.
Leary, yeah, or
Yep.
they're brothers. I don't know.
Yes, yep. Devin Leary, Timber Creek kid. Yep. Single season passing is a kid from Camden East Side in 2018, 3,900. Now look, they say this kid
Who's
was
that?
a freak too. That was Nick Cargman.
I don't know.
Now,
that.
single season rushing, Ashante Worthy, the kid from Freehold Borough, before we got here, they said he was a freak. He had 28.
They won the state championship. I watched that. Their highlights. They were very good.
Single game rushing. This is a stupid number. A St. Mary's Rutherford kid, 2015, 577 yards.
Julio Jones.
Darius Stone from St. Mary's Rutherford in 2015. He had 577 yards in a game.
I don't even know who that is. It's interesting how many people there are some you know, and there's a lot that you don't know.
Like it says here, like the kid from, now look, the career passing thing, right? Like, what is this one? Where is it right here? No, it's a career. Yes, I'm actually approaching historic marks. Right. Like the quarterback at Hun, right? The kid Lucas Proc. He has 4,300 passing. He had 4,300 passing yards in 2025, but because Hun school is the Hun school, they don't count it.
The Hun school just kills everybody in that conference. Petty gets crushed.
Yeah, they get Blair, that whole, even the guy. Yeah. Did you see that what the state is doing now with this competitive balance?
No.
So 6 teams, right? If you win a certain number of games and you have a certain number of students from out of district sending students for the most part, you now get bumped up.
Like open enrollment type deal?
To play a group size up from what you actually are. So the 6 teams for this year that are getting bumped up. So next year we'll have to play a group bigger than they are. Group 1, Glassboro will now, when they make if they make the playoffs, play Group 2. Group 2, Camden, if they make the playoffs, will have to go up and play Group 3. My buddy at Cedar Creek, Group 3 will now have to play Group 4. Ramapo, Group 4 to a Group 5. They will now have to play Group 5. Phillipsburg, another
Is
one.
that because they take kids from Oakland?
Because there's and look, I was at the meeting where Colleen, the head of the NJSI, he literally came in and said, look, this is what we're doing. This is how we're looking at it, right? Like, we're actually going to look at the rosters. If you have a certain number of kids that go to this place and they're not from this whatever, and now your point total, so 1 point for a first round win, 2 points for a 2-round win, like you get points for each round of the playoffs that you win. If it comes out above a certain number, you're going to play up. Now it's only for like, it's a year-to-year thing, right? So they could use group 2, Shabazz, now group 3.
So wait, they have kids? Oh, because they have kids that are not from their they're Newark, but not their district, right?
So I thought that was a look, and most of these guys are
That's
like,
not a bad idea.
so like the only guy, you know,
Does anyone
bitching-
complain about it, or
only one guy, right? And it's not even the coach. It's the AD from Shabazz is bitching about like, look, like we do all these things and our kids finally get rolling, and now look what happens. Like now you're trying to hold them, whatever. Meanwhile, they got PCTI on their regular season schedule. So like, you know, Coach Gaines wants the smoke, right? Like the other guys, like the Glassboro guy, I'm like, hey man, group 2. And he's like, we'll win that one too. You know, the guy from Camden, he's like, I have no comment, because there was an article in NJ.com, you know, and this is all coming off of that article. The only guy, I mean, I've spoken to some of these guys, like even my buddy at Cedar
but you
Creek,
can
he's like,
recruit. If you know you can recruit, what does it matter?
but also here's the thing, like the guy from Ramapo and the guy from Phillipsburg both said the same thing. They're like, dude, we play group 5s most of our season anyway. So it's not like all of a sudden we get to the playoffs and, oh my God, we got to play group 5s. Like you're playing these teams throughout the year anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy from Camden, he said he was great. He's like, dude, I don't care about our schedule. We play who we play and we just go. Like, I don't even have a comment. I have no opinion on it. I don't care. Right. My buddy Melody at Cedar Creek was like, look, dude, like, why wouldn't I? They got to go to group 4 now. Like, why would he's like, why wouldn't I want to do that? You know what I mean? Or whatever. Just, you
Is that because they get kids from like Absegami's district
whole like
and
yeah.
Egg Harbor?
Now the Ramapo one was interesting because look, obviously you were, you know, boots on the ground first line with that when it came to, you know, Oakland, Franklin Lakes, like Ramapo, Indian Hills, like the whole back and forth of that. Like to me, it's like, that's just kids that are like, hey, and obviously it's been this way for whatever. It's just now they're like, you know, paying more. I personally thought that if like say Rumson made a deeper run in the playoffs, they could have been one, right? Because there's kids that pay to go to school there that are in the district. It is what it is, dude. Like,
I think
not,
so.
But I do think it's really, now you don't have Glassboro hammering away at all the group 1s for the next, you know what I mean? Because they've literally run the table the last 2 years. And I get it. And that's why I think the year-to-year thing works with it too. Because obviously, like, especially at those smaller schools, like your roster is going to change where, look, dude, if you can run the table every year at a group 1, like kudos to you. Right. But all right.
How does that work I guess like Northern Highlands has open enrollment. So
well, that's the same thing. So if they make a deep run, now they'll go group 5 or Westwood, right? Or whatever.
Oh, Westwood has open enrollment.
I don't know. I'm saying like I'm saying for like, if that is a part of it, teams that are good and you're the
Northern
same,
Highlands definitely does. You could
like Old Tappan.
Burton County.
I don't know if Old Tappan does, right? But
Old Tappan does not.
Like Riverdale
Does not.
You know what I mean? Like, I know, like
in Bergen County, I remember Northern Highlands, obviously Ramapo because of the 3 towns.
What about like Pascack Valley or Pascack Hills? Like any of those?
Pascack Valley could if they're getting kids from Hills. If they're
Right.
taking Hills
Like,
kids.
and the same thing, like Wayne Hills, Wayne Valley, like
I mean, technically,
Middletown South, Middletown North, like Tom's Rivers, like
Middletown South, Middletown North do not, because they technically it's according to their lines.
Geographic, same as
They have
here in
actual
Brick,
lines.
right? Like Brick Memorial, Brick Township line.
There's lines. If someone is going, when you see someone go to South, there is.
I just
There's
wish they gave
one.
them a choice,
There's
bro.
There's one elementary school area that has choice. So, by the way, which I don't think is. I mean, I'm a private school, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't think it's fair. But one area that's like situated in the middle, they could choose South or North. Okay.
See, I like that. Honestly, I do. I really do. Like,
well, the other people don't have choice. That's the issue that so here's what happens. It's the same thing that happens at Indian Hills and Ramapo. Franklin Lakes has choice. You could choose Oakland or you could choose Oakland. I'm sorry, Indian Hills, or you could choose Ramapo. So most of the Franklin Lakes kids, the majority, is definitely football that go to Ramapo. Are the Franklin Lakes kids that decide to go public school go to Ramapo. Middletown, South Middletown, North. The kids that in that area, it's a big school, big elementary school. The kids that choose to go can choose. Primarily, majority of them choose South. So what you get is now it has not in the last couple of years made a difference football wise because North is better, I guess, right? So it has not. But
the guard is kind of changing in the last 2-3 years, dude. Like,
well, North also is starting to get.
I mean, they have a hell of a coaching staff.
You know what they're getting a little bit of? So Keensburg used to be a really good small school program.
And they've just kind of got back on track because they just hired last year, the year before, they just hired the old guy back. So that the stability will get back. You know what I mean?
Well, what's happened is because Keensburg, the old Keensburg people move out. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are they moving up and out towards? That side of Middletown.
It's why I don't.
So now Middletown's getting a lot more of those people too. So
it's why I think you've seen Manalapan on a bit of a resurgence, Wall on a bit of a resurgence. I think but you know what I mean. Like I mean, shit, they were like number one in the state a couple of years when we were first getting here, right? Like, and then obviously everything went down. But like, it's why I find it really hard to understand why like Colts Neck isn't good. Now, Colts Neck might be too far up. You know what I'm saying?
Colts Neck, it's because they could choose there. So Colts.
And are you going to go to Colts Neck or are you going to go to, you know what I mean?
It's Colts Neck, Howell. I want to say,
dude, Howell's like a
Manalapan, maybe. I don't know. There's like three.
They're all in that Freehold district, right? Like they're all in that. Yes.
Well, Freehold's a separate district, but they're in their own district.
Well, that is why that my head coach, in his philosophy of how things should be and how the divisions are broken up, all of those schools where that Jewish holiday of you can't practice on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week should be in one division because your school schedules are going to align up better. You know what I mean? So like, look, now you guys just get in and now you don't have to ask me to play on this Saturday morning or whatever it is. Like your Manalapans, your Colts Necks, your Freeholds, like they all might not be in the same district, but they all have to follow those rules.
I'm sure Middletown has the same thing.
Right. It's just, I don't know. It's never going to be a perfect group. Marlboro, Howell, you know what I mean? Like the Shore is just different.
Well, I think the Shore, the scheduling of changing every year is kind of it basically ends up happening that like there's just
you never get a home and home. Like
teams are always at the bottom. Certain teams are always at the top. The middle moves a lot. That's basically what.
I mean, my division alone, right? So they've made every division now 6 teams. Okay, so that's a change. It was 5. They've made it 6 for the most part. It was always they tried to get 5, but it needed whatever. So it's 6 automatic. Just my division, right? Southern bumps up, right? They win it and they've always won it, and they, you know, so now they go up. They got to play the big dogs now. Well, Manchester, correct. Manchester moves down because they just went, you know, they went from a playoff team to now a 1-win team, right? Okay, they go down. Toms River East, who won their division last year, comes in, so they go up. Lacey, right, comes up, and Pinelands come up.
Oh, Lacey was good this year?
They're like the X factor of like, where do we put them?
Oh. What is Red Bank in? The second division or the first? Not the first. There must not be
second. but they gotta they're with Mid-South, Mid-North.
Oh, Mid-South's
all-
in the second division?
They're bumped down.
Wow. Is North in this top division still?
They're in that second tier one.
So who's the top? Red Bank, Catholic,
Red Bank Catholic,
Rumson,
Rumson,
who's only a
Brick,
group two.
Brick Memorial,
Brick Memorial. They bumped
Homedale.
up. Homedale.
Brick Memorial was in it this year.
That's gonna be tough for Homedale this year.
Dude, Homedale, which is why a lot of the argument of you need to look at rosters year to year, right? And not go off of what it was, right? Like Toms River North, we know they were a hammer for however long, but you knew coming into this year, they weren't going to be exactly what they were. You know what I mean?
Why don't they just do every 2 years?
That would be that like everybody else, right? Like
Maybe you have 1 year that's bad. Okay. You lose, but it's not going to be like a constant moving of everything, I don't know. That seems like a lot.
So, okay. So here, I'll go through it, right? Big. So the highest of the high, okay. Homedale, Red Bank Catholic, Rumson, St. John Vianney,
St. John Vianney moved up.
Wall, and Manalapan.
It's actually not that strong of a division. It's okay.
Class A South.
Manalapan's going to be good, I think, this year.
Here's the other high one. Brick Memorial, Donovan Catholic, Jackson, which is now remembered those two high schools smashed together. They're one big one.
They should be.
Point Borough, Southern, Toms River North.
So those are both A division, basically.
Both A's, the A's. A North, A South.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. All right.
B North, Freehold Township, Manasquan, Matawan, Mid-North, Mid-South, Shore.
What?
Yeah.
Aren't they a group one?
They get fucked.
So, all right. You should also account group size. Should also be an accountability.
It is
part.
the least factored in thing anymore because the PowerPoint algorithm using group size to benefit you, right? Like if you're a 2 and you play a 5, get whatever, it's not as big of a like percentage as it used to be. Like, remember, we used to do that all the time, right? Like, oh shit, we're a 2, let's play a 4. I mean, it's how at Butler. Dude,
well, most of the teams in that B aren't that. I mean, Matawan has some players this year.
Dude, Donovan?
Donovan?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Like, Manasquan. Always. Like, Matawan has a young QB, and they made a deep run, right? Mid-North, Mid-South. Like, you just have some. And Freehold's Township is a 5. Now, like I said, my group, right? B South, which is middle tier. Okay. It's us, Central, who is probably the team to beat. Lacey, Pinelands, who's brings everybody back and was a really good game for us. Like Toms River East, who just won the lower division, and Toms River South. So to me, I think our division is literally it's exactly what it should be. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's pretty much the same size. You're all around the same, like, whatever it is. I mean, for us, in comparison to who we had to play last year, like, dude, last year we played Manalapan, who's big time. Now we'll always play Memorial because it's the other side of town, like type thing. They're in the biggest, you know what I'm saying? Like Southern, they're in the big. So 3 of the games we played last year were of top dogs, right? Regardless of size or whatever. Now, drop it down one more. Now you have Red Bank, like they should rock this thing, right?
They dropped down even. They're in the third.
They're in the third thing. It's Howell, Marlboro, Neptune, Ocean, Raritan, Red Bank. Like if you were still the head coach at Red Bank, you'd be like, oh, okay, let's go. Like, okay. Now, Neptune had a run in the playoffs.
I
But
saw
that's it.
Flora, by the way, ran a combine or something.
Yeah, so he did something with his thing, like they did it up north or something. Who else did their big one this weekend too? There was another big one that Prep Red Zone ran their big one this weekend
The middle,
over in
the younger
Jackson.
kid one. The
Yeah.
younger kid one.
No prolific guys were there though.
No, they're in. I think they're down in Florida.
They're in Miami.
The only time I actually would want to be with them would have been this weekend.
But how about like but
Miami.
Dave? Listen to some of these teams that are in the bottom of the bottom, right? Asbury Park, okay, Group 1. Barnegat, Colts Neck, Long Branch, Manchester, and Monmouth. That's the bottom. The other one is the other bottom one. Or actually, no, that's considered D, right? So they go A, B, C, D based off of what it is, right? So the class D is obviously that's the lowest. The one above that, like C South, that's Freehold Borough, Keensburg, Keyport, Lakewood, New Egypt, Point Beach. Group 3, no, well, Freehold's a 4, right? 4, 1, 1. Lakewood is a group 5, but disaster. Maybe 20-something kids on the roster. No head coach right now. New Egypt, Point Beach. 2 group 1. So it's basically a group 1 division. But Barnegat, Colts Neck, like I'm telling you, dude, we played Long Branch this year. It's not the Long Branch that we played.
They're done.
Tough place, dude.
Well, I just think you need somebody that's going to go in there, and all these places need that. And some of it makes it very.
But even like your hometown area, a lot of like, you know what I mean? Like Wallington's got a new guy.
You mean Saddlebrook? You mean?
Yeah, I'm saying, but like that area, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling that Bergen County, smaller, whatever. Like Wallington's got a new guy. Like some of those, like, and even last year, like you saw some changes with, you know, Woodridge, Park Ridge, like some of these places, like it's just a constant.
By the way, I'll give you we were talking earlier about.
Did you see Bertola did a clinic too?
Oh yeah, he sent me. I couldn't make it.
It's at a bar.
It looked like it was probably a fun time.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine with him. Come on, dude.
Probably a good time. A little bit of learning, a little bit of drinking, a little more drinking than learning. What was I gonna say? What was with Al? I think it was Al Domaleri, who was my DC at Indian Hills the 1 year, and then Guy, and then all those guys coached me actually.
It's wild.
All 3 doing a clinic coach at me at one point. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I forgot what was interesting about. So speaking of like the speed and like the speed stuff. So the guy who's the all-time leading rusher at Saddlebrook played for Leo. Okay. His name was I can't believe I forgot his name. His father was actually my youth coach back in the day. In like
midnight. When my era or after?
It's after you. I want to say it's like 2010, 11.
I was gonna say like 10, 11, 12-ish, like somewhere when I was actually teaching there.
May have been. He was a wild kid, but I can't believe I forgot his name. Damn it! You know what? It had to be yeah. He was there when we went to the state championship. He was a senior.
So 2012,
because we lost to them in overtime in a crazy game, and he scored a touchdown in overtime against us, and we were down 14-0 at halftime. And at the end of the half, we ended the end of the half on the 1-yard line. Because we snapped it over our quarterback's head, and we didn't get in. And then we came back. We scored 2 touchdowns, make it 14-14. And then we basically ran out of time. We were driving again. They got the ball though, and this kid was such a good running back. It was the only thing I didn't want to go to overtime.
Maneri?
What was it?
Maneri?
No, Maneri's my when I was coaching.
I know. I think, but there was like a lot of them.
Well, there were two. There were three. One was.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Dude, there was like a whole family.
Jacobson. That's the name. Jacobson.
Yes, I remember him. He was a stud. Yes, because he was like a middle school kid when I was teaching there.
He might have been. Yeah, he's a wild. He's skinny.
Wild kid.
Wild kid.
I'm like, just come to my room, bud. Like, just come over here. Come on, come sit down. Like, let's have it.
Great wrestler. Stopped wrestling. I think he didn't even wrestle his senior year.
Dude, that's a whole different thing. I obviously this is like the wrestling stuff.
This is how crazy so he came when I did my speed back. This is the beginning 2002, 2003. Okay, I was doing like speed camp and I started my speed training business. Jacobson, as a little kid, came to my stuff when he was 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe up to like 7, 8. Okay, he would come. Jacobson would go, and he would like first week he just kicked Cones over. He would kick him over. He didn't want to be there. Kick him over. Just kick Cones over. Like every time we go to do a drill, he'd kick him. I'd be like, wow.
Like,
I never had a 5-year-old that I think I wanted to kill, but I wanted to kill him. So he would kick my Cones over and over. That's what he did. But I could tell you this, by the time like a couple of years of doing it, he was so like good with his feet, even as a 7-year-old. You know what I mean? Like his feet were great. And he was fat. I was like, oh, this kid's gonna be a pretty good athlete. Lo and behold, years down the line, there he is. We were playing against him. And his father reminded me, he's like, he first started doing this stuff when he would come to your camps. I said, oh yeah. I remember he would kick the Cones over. He was so mad that he had to be there. But he was. It's interesting because that stuff, like a lot of those kids were there when they were real little, and they stayed with it for like several years. And I was still had the facility. And then
your facility was where? What town?
Well, first we were just running camps, and I would just train at Saddlebrook High School and run camps there. I was no different than, although I had insurance, but I was no different than any of these other guys back in the day. I would just go in the field, train them. Like guys think they invented this shit. Like I was in this shit in 2002.
Dude, Mike Smith was doing it when we were in school, dude.
Yeah, same time period. So. Like just doing.
I remember working out, dude. Like one day we'd be at Butler's Fields, the next day we'd be at Kinnelon's field. We'd be in Kinnelon's weight room because his uncle was the AD at the time of whatever. And then again, people started bitching, like, how come Mike gets to work people out in the weight room and do it? You know what I mean? And it was like
me working people out, but the kids were getting better and better. So and a lot of those kids,
and he started getting and Mike at the time was like coaching with us as a freshman football coach, but he was doing basketball with his uncle, you know what I mean? And then it was, okay, there's 2 of us, then there was 3 of us, then there was 5 of us, then it just kept kind of growing. And
I had girls too. So I had the girl,
that was cool.
I had the girl, she was 6 years old, 5 and 6 at the time. And then she did it as a 7-year-old. I had this girl, she ended up breaking all of Saddlebrook's record in 100 meters. She ran 12-1 or 2.
Dude, when I was there, what's his name? Your guy was the softball coach. And they were doing that shit. Your guy, White. When I was at Saddlebrook, their softball program was humming.
Oh yeah, White.
Dude,
he's not around.
I mean, look, we talked to Coach Santora. His daughters went there. They were really good players, softball players at Saddlebrook. It's when I saw. It was my first experience seeing girls softball at a very, very high level. You know what I mean? Of Bergen County Finals, or we're playing IHA.
They had their own club too.
Dude,
so
that was he did his own thing.
They had their own club.
And I immediately flocked to that. I was like, hey coach, nice to meet you. You know what I mean? I'm here but I'm coaching at Bosco and this and that. I didn't know him as a football guy. I only knew him as a softball coach.
He wasn't doing football anymore. Yeah.
Right. It was Leo. And that was a hard thing too, because we had the kid at Bosco, Isaiah Hill, who was a Saddlebrook kid, and his younger brother was in middle school. He ended up going to Buffalo, the younger one. But it was oh, you coach at Bosco, you're just going to continue to take a Saddlebrook kid every year. And I was like, because obviously like the principal introduced me on day one of like, hey, Derek's a new teacher here, but he coaches football at Don Bosco. And I'm like, fuck, like,
Hey, Hill,
I
I
felt-
don't know who that is.
Isaiah Hill played for us. He was like a receiver type kid. And then I forget his brother's first name, obviously because I left, but he ended up going to Buffalo as a DB.
Saddlebrook could always have a couple of kids that would go to. Now they all go.
Well, that was also the first year I want to say that wrestling became a co-op. We had a new athletic director at Saddlebrook who had just come from, I want to say, like a Wayne school, maybe Wayne Valley or Wayne Hills, and he was a baseball
Still
guy.
there. He's still there.
Is he?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
still there.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he's still there. Yeah,
Those
he's
group
from
one
Wayne.
guys. Those group one guys don't go.
I'm pretty sure he's still there.
It's crazy.
Because my father is a track.
Man, I want to say it was.
My
maybe-
father's coaching track at Saddlebrook again as an assistant.
God bless his
Shop-
heart.
Shot put coach. Oh my god.
It says no. This is a different guy. Jeff Weiss is the athletic director now.
No, he was the athletic director when I was there. He's not the athletic director.
It's AI tells me that's who's the athletic director at Saddlebrook High School.
No, it's Iannello. That's
the name.
it's
That's the name I remember.
Yeah, he's the AD there. I don't know why it says Jeff. AI said Jeff Weiss. Jeff Weiss hasn't been the AD since like 2008.
This one says Iannello.
Okay. Which one said
Dude, this is the track and field guy, Saccone. I taught with him.
yeah, Saccone.
I taught with him. He
Oh,
taught
yeah,
7th and 8th grade history. Dude,
He's a middle school teacher.
wild. He's
Is
like,
he?
buddy. Oh, dude, he was awesome. But he also like had younger kids at the time. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
As
his
a
kids
first-
are adult. His kids are
Dude, as a
his
first year
right?
teacher, like try to balance coaching and just figure out that world in itself of like he was a trip, bro. He's like, buddy, you ain't got to do all this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
Right.
let me show you how to get this done and still be efficient with it. Because he was a really good teacher. Kids loved him, obviously, but like really good teacher. And I love that too. Like, I love that teaching part of it. Like, I actually like I loved history. I loved teaching the subject, and like teaching actually mattered to me, whereas some guys like just used it for whatever. But it's funny, like the boys lacrosse coach at Saddlebrook, like I taught with his mom taught 7th grade geography with me. And this kid was like a baby at the time. And now he's the head lacrosse coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny to see those things and how you kind of, if guys are still there or whatever, like, it's just, what was really good when I was at Saddlebrook, bro, was basketball. Like, they had a couple, like, pretty good players.
Galenius was probably the head coach back then.
Yeah. And then there was another guy
Came in after him.
who taught there, but he coached there too. And I got him an interview at Mount Olive when that opened up. He taught history too. What the hell was his name? Oh God, Gianfreddi.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I mean, if I went to Saddlebrook now, I wouldn't even.
No, Jen and I talk about all the time, like Butler. Like there might be one teacher left, two teachers that are left there. One being the head football coach. Like that were there when we were there. I mean, look, it's 20-something years ago.
Yeah, it seems like it was just yesterday, but it was a long time
Yeah, I
ago.
mean, think about even when you were like there as a coach.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Look,
kids
you've
that
seen all the
kids that I
places.
Kids that I coached are 40 now, 41.
Yeah.
Like that's the weirdest part to me. Like that kids that I coached are like 40s in their 40s, 40, 41. I'm like, wow. So when I talk about somebody that's like how great an athlete somebody was, and I'm just like, wait a minute, they're adults. Now I see how my father, when he says like,
Yeah, like when we're sitting
my
here talking
father,
about Paul.
he'll introduce me like, oh, Dave, he was a hell of an athlete. Like, I'm like, hell of an athlete, what, 30 years ago? I I think maybe in the last few years he stopped introducing me that way because it's just I'm obviously clearly old now. But I'm telling you, through my 40s, he'd be like, you would have thought I was an athlete 5 years ago. My father would be like he'd be like, yeah, son Dave, he's like a hell of an athlete, like he blah blah blah. He would go through my like quick summary of when he introduced me to somebody, and I was like, that was 20 years ago, at the time. It was like so long ago. But I'll tell you this: one good thing about losing a lot of weight, I've lost 35 pounds now.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing the things you can do. It's like, wow.
Well, you just feel different.
You could. And by the way, when I was talking about how I really started now, like when I go to Lifetime, I was kind of doing stuff more, for me, what I need, like. But now that I bring Troy sometimes, I'm telling you, these treadmills they have, I put them on it, dude. And I just dude. So I said, okay, you're gonna go and it has the angle, that curved angle, so where your foot lands in a proper angle, which you want, which is very hard to teach.
You're also healthier now, right?
No, I'm not talking about me. I'm saying when I have him go, it's healthy.
I'm saying like for you losing the weight too, like being healthy and kind of feeling okay, like you know what I mean? Like no need, like I'm sure that stuff still bothers you, but it's not right.
If I get to 240, I would
all of the weight you lose now, you just feel better. Your back's probably feeling better. You know what I mean? Like, just little tweaks and shit like that, dude. Like
I got that
all that kind of shit.
Help my back. The best thing I ever did for my back, obviously losing weight helps, but I got the inversion table.
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
Dude, you sit on.
People swear by that, bro.
5 minutes on that upside down, it changed your life. It
opens everything,
and you can maintain your height better because as you get older, like. It probably won't happen until I get to be about 60, but it's only 8 years away. So I can't even, it's just to say it. Like, I don't even know how that is. I still think I'm myself as like, I'm like, I can still go to the nightclub, but
we're still in that mindset of like, we're still however old. And it's like, dude, we're not.
It's just,
like I laugh because my niece is a freshman at Sacred Heart, right? And she's always posted pictures of like going out or doing this. And I'm like, same bar 20 years ago, but like, I can't even think of it. I mean, if I'm up past 10 o'clock, I'm like, oh God. And obviously like with a newborn, like it's the norm, it's Groundhog's Day. It's like, like, how do I get in that window? Oh, dude, he's the man.
You're what, 2 weeks in? Two?
Yeah, about 2 weeks. The 8th. So, yeah. What's today?
He probably's already gone through a bunch of changes in that. I remember the first month. There's so many changes in the first month.
And it's like, look, like, eat, sleep, shit, piss, repeat. Right? Like it's there's no like.
I'm trying to think that he moved. What does it take to a month? Right?
It's like a month. Like after 4 weeks, you start to like. I'm like, all right. It's like it's kind of like, all right. Well, he survived. Like he's alive. Right. Okay, like, and it's all right now. To be honest, like it's still man-to-man coverage, right? Because we have 2, but because he is so much more dependent on mommy that it's kind of like, all right, you got him, I got her, break. You know what I'm saying? Like now, obviously I did a ton of studies on like, or just read on a bunch of stuff about like, bringing another one into the house and, she still needs mommy time and attention and all, the back and the forth of like, right, like all of the things she's progressing on and doing so well, like there'll be a regression, like a slight regression of just little things that
much attention
because it's like, well, he cries, gets what he wants, I cry, you tell me no, like you know what I'm saying, like how does that work, right? Like, and their little brains, like she's just trying to process all this shit of like, what the hell is this thing that just screams all the time, right? So my whole thing was like, look, like I really want to focus and make sure that her routine doesn't get like totally blown out of it because we worked so hard to put that in place, and she's done really, really, really well with it. But it's like a natural part of it, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's a lot on mom who's dealing with her own physical changes of all of that kind of stuff, you know, like that's a whole, I mean,
Two has
it's
to be, that's becomes big.
the shit's real. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real. Like, so then when I look at people of like, oh, your second one was twins, like, whew, like some of these people with like 4 kids, like, I don't know how people do that shit, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Age, obviously, I think plays a role, right? Like she's
The one good thing about I would say 2 kids, you probably still end up where you have to get outside because there's boy and girl. You probably have to get outside friends, kind of.
100%.
I think when people have like 4, I think their kids are their friends for the most part.
Yeah.
Because
and look, and having family.
Not that you don't have outside friends, you do, but I think
you have more acquaintances.
Well, because there's you can't service everybody's needs, so you just like go play with each other.
Not to the level that you would want to. You know what I'm saying? Like now, again, having family that's right, having family that's around, right? Like a niece and nephew that, you know, they're not her age, but we can still go and do things, and her and my niece can go and like whatever, or even my nephew who's, you know, is Troy's age. Like, dude, like he'll go jump on the trampoline with her or whatever. Like they'll build Legos together. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he can still like have a friend, but also be like a caretaker in that aspect. Like there's still that, it's still like, you know, she gets that interaction with another kid, right? Where, you know, it's like, oh, we don't want to just, you know, only have her doing this or doing that or whatever. But so that's really good too. Like she's got cousins that are around that she can go and do those things with. But, you know, it's just a matter of like,
does she do any daycare or no?
Not yet. Because, you know, like it just wasn't like, it's like she's kind of in that middle because she's like a summer baby. You know what I'm saying? She's at the end of July. Like, look, and that's, you know, you see it, whatever. Yeah. And again, like having those niece and nephews around or cousins around that are of that, like she can go get that interaction of socializing and rules and all that stuff, hearing things from other people other than her parents and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because we have a set schedule of like that, but
I wish we didn't. I mean, we did. It worked out fine. I wish, like, when Troy was young, we first had someone that helped out, but then we eventually put him into daycare for a while.
Right.
He was young.
Like not yet. Well, some people have to do that, right? Like dad has to work, or mom has to go back to work. You know what I'm saying?
I would have liked to waited one more year.
We are kind of on like 3. The train of like 3. That's what we would, because there was an opportunity. Like she could have gone and done something earlier, but we said, look, let's go 3.
Wants to play with other people, other kids,
right? And look, and then you go into the whole like she's potty trained. You know what I mean? Like you're in that whole world of doing all those kind of things. That was one of our big things, was like we wanted her potty trained and out of diapers before he arrived. You know what I'm saying? Just one less thing to kind of have to go through and deal with or whatever. So that was like a big deal. Like
social because of it, I guess.
Correct.
He did like one thing we did. It's funny because Nicole had to go back to work right away. So
right.
We initially, like he was really young. We said, let's try and put him in daycare at this place that was recommended. We put him in daycare. I went there and I just had a bad feeling. And at lunchtime, I went to check on him. This will make you laugh. I went in there and he was just crying. And I went in there, I grabbed him, and I saw him at lunchtime. I came back at the end of the day with Nicole, and I grabbed him and I said, we're never coming back here, just so you know. And I grabbed him, and everyone's like, oh, was he? I was like, nope, we're never coming back. See you later. And we never we were like, it was way too early. Like he needed another year or whatever. And but it was I just remember I was horrified. I'm like, I don't know how people are doing. We gotta wait. He's not ready.
This. Yeah. And that's a lot, obviously. You know what I mean? Like correct. And they still need, which as much as she's attached, like now she doesn't really have a choice but to kind of, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, you know, it's like you
Well, the
can't have
studies
mom
are
right
they don't
now.
have to go to daycare. You know, really, that's the
Right.
most optimal. But most
Whereas
people
back
aren't
in the
that-
day, it was get them out and go to daycare like sooner than later or whatever. Well, you know what I mean? Like, look, every study you find, like, there's another one
I've
that
been at
debunks it.
4. I didn't go until I was 4. Believe it or not.
I never went because we went to my aunt's house and it was daycare.
It was
There
like a
was
nursery school.
6,
Nursery school.
7, correct, which was a thing back in the day of you didn't go
I
to
went
a
to nursery
formal
school when I was 4.
Correct. Same gig, only you're in a setting. Like that, we went to my aunt's and it was right. Like there's 10 kids here. I'm like, okay, like, and that's where we spent. Look, my bus stop was at my aunt's house, which was
Right.
my babysitter. It was more of the thing you did, right? It wasn't the
Yep.
formal school type of setting, but dude, we did all that shit. We colored, you know what I mean? Played, we went
Yeah.
outside and did all that shit. Like, 1,000 ways to skin a cat, bro. Like, yeah, you know, so it's but no, it's been really cool. It's been cool. A boy is just a different world. Like, I mean, it's just
what they
like just you know what I mean? Like changing a diaper is a different thing. Like, you know, it's like it's a totally
smell different.
It's just a different beast, bro. Like my man is very regular. Like
Oh my god!
but it's like now you're dealing with something
There's
that's like, you know, you're gonna be covered in
baby
this if you don't do
shit
the
is-
right thing. Yeah, dude, it's brutal. Like it's just
when a baby
oh.
takes a shit, it's like
and like obviously like
I can
you know
still smell it.
but it's different because like, you know, like okay, like hey, like how come baby Carter can't have, you know, blueberries like me, daddy? And it's like he can't eat food right now, baby. Like, you know what I mean? So like that, like those types of things. Or can he come play in the snow with me? Like, no, he can't, babe. Like, I'm sorry, like we can't bring him out in 9-degree weather, you know, like it's. But she's really good, dude. Like she's been absolutely like a gem, help wise and all that kind of stuff. Like to her, it's like this is a doll and I can play, you know what I mean? All the time. Like I have to fight her. I'm like, you can't just shove a bottle down his throat, babe. Like, I mean, if he's like in the swing, it's like, well, I made baby Carter breakfast. Like, baby, you can't put all of your toys on him. Like feeding him, he's not going to eat it. Or I have, you know, here's his binky, mom. Like, I'm like, baby, he doesn't need 5. He's okay with 1. Like, but she's been really good, dude. She's taken to it. So it's, yeah. Otherwise, because I've read some horror stories of like, whew, like,
oh really?
Oh yeah, like you walk in the room and the older one's got a blanket over his head or whatever. It's like yeah, because kids like they don't fucking
Yeah.
Like, you're like, no, you can't do that. Like you can't pick them up and walk around with them, babe. Like, you know, like you can sit and hold them and do these things. But my whole thing was the sleep aspect of it, right? I just didn't want, like, she's a really good sleeper, right? Like she's got her nighttime routine, you know what I mean? Like bath, you know, whatever it is, sleep, and she sleeps right through the night, right? So I didn't want, you know, a screaming baby at 3:30 in the morning to now wake her up, and then it's, you know, off this whole thing. But he's, dude, knock on wood, man, like he's been really good sleep wise. Like we get a good 4 or 5 hours every night of what it is, which is
before you
tremendous. Before you got to go like figure it out, or she's got to be like, daddy, I'm up. And, you know, like once she's up. Like she ain't like waking up and being like, oh, I'll close my eyes a little bit if I just like lay in bed with mom and dad. And it's like, oh, hell no, buddy. Like she's good. She's like, let's go. Like I had to fight her yesterday for like 4 hours of going out in the snow. I'm like, you can't go out yet, babe. Like I'm going to lose you. Like
yeah, you're going to fall.
I'm like, we're out. And she's like, dad, I'm good. Like she stayed out with me for a while, like an hour. I'm like, shit, girl, it's cold out here. But she's like, no, daddy, let's play. Let's run. She always wants to run, dude. Like she just wants to run. Like, daddy, she'll just run around the house. Like just run. I'm like, maybe you'll be a runner, baby. Like I'm good with that. Like, yeah, hell, like good form. You're really strong. Like, you know, because her, you know, my niece is big gymnastics. Like, so like, you know, she's got the bar in her house and all this other shit, the mat and whatever. So like, when they do that shit, like this girl wants, you know, my niece wants to be doing back handsprings, and Avery's like, I roll, like, you know, she'll roll around. Like the first thing I think I'm going to get her in, dude, is like a little gymnastics course.
Oh,
like
yeah.
she wants to be doing all that shit, And then like swimming, like the other ones love swimming, right? For all that, like the stuff that she can do, like, and obviously we all know soccer starts at 2.
Probably could start now. Soccer.
Oh no, absolutely. And look, we go to my niece's games and she,
shots, right? Is that the thing that? Yeah, soccer.
Yep,
shots.
that's exactly what it is. And look, even my head coach right now, whose son is first grade, he's like, look, dude, I don't care. I put him in everything just so he learns to like stand in a line, or this is the, like, I don't care if he goes through the drill and trips over every code, but he knows to stand in a line and wait his turn and do all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, but he's got his son who's first grade. He's got him doing wrestling because Point Pleasant has a really good youth stuff, like a lot of shit for them to do through the rec department. Manasquan too does a lot of good stuff, like, and that's he's in Point, but
does what's his name still run the rec there? Or is he no longer involved? Antonucci?
Manasquan, I believe he does.
Oh, he still runs it. Okay.
I think so. I'm almost positive, which is a really great gig. And obviously a lot of places are trying to take that model of like smash the high school and the rec program together. And now you can build an indoor facility.
Yeah, that facility's nice.
Yeah, it's sweet. I love
just small. Just small.
Yes. I love this because this is usually how things get done, right? So our AD must have like came into our weight room the other day and was like working out or something. And now look, our dumbbells are probably the same ones that like have been there since Coach Wolf took over, right? So, nothing that an Allen key and tightening some of them up wouldn't change, but a lot of them are loose or whatever. They're just old, they're like whatever. So he must have come in and like was working out or something, and like a dumbbell, like he's like, this thing's going to fall on my face. So now it's, hey, let's get a quote for new dumbbells. Like, like it's funny how those things work. I'm like, look, we don't have to do a Manasquan weight room where we got like the logo on dumbbells. I'm like, you can go get 0 to 100, like, and at a pretty good price point if you really want to do it that way. You just got to find the windows. But I always love how it takes like the athletic director coming in and almost dropping a weight on his head because it's not what we need to get things done. And our weight room's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, Dave. I mean, it's huge. It's bigger than we were at RBR, 100%, with 4 double-sided racks and, just ample space beyond. So it's not like you can't, add to it or whatever. We actually have room that if we had single racks and put them to the side against the walls with mirrors, you could put 30 yards of turf down the middle. Like that's how big it is. Right. It's just old. Like it's an old building, so whereas Memorial is a newer building, which adds more of an appeal to it. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's a little, like our gym, like the gymnasium at Brick can't fit the entire school. So they can never have a pep rally unless it's outside, Yeah. It's not like RBRs. That's like, whoo. Or SJV that has 2 gyms. Or 1 gym. I'm sorry. SJV had 1 gym.
RBR's indoor thing, and it could be even better than it is. But
dude, do you remember that? Dave, I remember walking in there being like, dude, we're set, bro. I'm like, dude, we're set. And they built a new building next to the away bleachers.
Oh, really?
I know, bro. I know.
They should be like, dude, the guy who took what's the famous basketball coach from Rumson that went there and now is back at Rumson? Soros?
I saw that.
Well, why did they run him out of Red Bank? He's
True. I don't think Truhan's there anymore, dude.
What? Really? Let me look him up. Truhan. What's Truhan's first name?
Oh God,
I know his son was graduated too. That maybe that was part of it. Like he was in college now. His son was a good basketball player. Oh yeah, you're right. Derek, you're so
John.
Good. You're so good. You like. I actually think like I should let you have your own. You should do your own show, right? In this network, and it should be like sports news, like just like not long, like literally like.
Sometimes I feel like Schefter though. Like sometimes I feel like Schefter got like 8 phones.
You would be good. You would be like, yeah. Sorry, you're out there.
Listen, it's actually funny you said that, right? Because like the stuff I'm doing with the NJFCA and all that stuff, like it's literally like part of it is like staying up to it with new coaches or whatever it is. So like, and obviously John Jacobs, the head coach at East Orange, is kind of the guy that like handles it and runs it or whatever. But like,
Right.
you know, I have to keep that database up to date, right? And you know, so like some of these moves are happening, and I'm sending them messages like, because every time there's a new head coach, I send them a contact card basically on our phones, right? With, you know, first name, last name, address, email, cell phone. You know what I mean? Just, hey, this is the new head coach at Wallington. This is the new head coach at Memorial. It's funny because, you know, like the former head coach at Brick Memorial, like sent an email the other day to him and was like, hey, you know, Scott Mahoney is going to be the new head coach here. Here's his information, da-da-da-da. And Jacobs like just emails him back. He's like, oh yeah, don't worry. Derek took care of it. And it was like, because it's just
Scott
like,
Mahoney.
yeah, it's not this. I'm sorry, it's not Scott Mahoney. That's the guy from Ponte Lakes. It's James Mahoney. He's been on staff there for a while, so he'll take over, which is gonna be a little rough.
Is that
the best class that they've
Madison
ever-
or no? Not Madison.
What's that?
Who's taking over Madison for?
Curtis Sally, who's on staff, played there. I played against him.
Okay, he's taking over.
He's taking over. We'll have Coach Kubik on
figured
Wednesday.
figured
Now
they-
listen, Dave, he retired. Coach Kubik retired already. Like he retired
School?
before Christmas break. Teacher, coach, the
Oh, so
works.
he's older than
Dave,
me. then. He's older.
He's
than me.
already relocated and living in South Carolina.
So his kids are all graduated and stuff. Yeah.
And now
Because
Brother-in-law went there.
like 5 years older than me. Then
brother-in-law went there, right? Madison, Butler, always like that's
Yeah.
a tough place, dude. Like there's
Yeah,
a lot of
he
history,
was-
tradition, and he did a really great job. Dude, 19
T.
years.
Wing T.
Yeah, I mean, but you're talking about like Neil O'Donnell, right? Like even the
Georgia?
legendary Jack Davies, right? Who was part of that Montclair game and all that, like the Butler guy that went and like, dude, Madison's a really like a Hanover Parkish type, right?
Yeah.
Like there's expectations. I mean, and it's across the building because last year boys and girls basketball were in the state final, like for group 2, like both, you know, so. And I only know that because they played our OC at Manasquan, but like that stuff, look, it is just harder and harder. And you're seeing more and more of it where like the coach that was there for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it's not a thing anymore, dude. Like these guys want to go other places. They want to move. They want to be ahead, you know, the opportunities of, you know, the grass isn't always greener sometimes and whatnot. And it's just, it's a really hard thing, dude. Like, it's just not the way it used to be where guys step down as head coaches to become athletic directors or administrators. Like that's not a, you know, like
They just done.
because, you know, we've talked about it numerous times how school systems used to want to hire head football coaches to be administrators because they knew how to handle that stuff. Right. And
Right.
it's just not a thing anymore, man. It's just not. Guys go to school to be athletic directors and have never been a head coach of anything, let alone football, which it's just different.
Where is did Truan go?
I don't know. I know he's tight with Dawn at SJV.
Yeah,
So I don't know if maybe he ends up. I mean, and they just had a huge win. RBC girls are number one. We're number one in the state, and SJV knocked them off. So that was a big thing the other day. But even like I was looking at the wrestling stuff from the weekend because this was a big like county wrestling tournament up north, Morris County. Like Mount Olive won the whole thing, but it's only because now Del Barton has opted out. And they do now they do like their own Catholic private school wrestling tournament. Whereas, you know, Del Barton used to win every year for Morris County and everybody was cool with it, which I think is cool too. Like nobody's bitching about, you know, oh, well, you know, like we should be in it or no, it's like, look, that's cool. You guys go do your thing. Right. Cause you know, Mount Olive would be the number 2 team, would have always won it, but Del Barton would just dominate everybody because look, they just beat the number 2 team in the country the other night in a duel. Like, it's that matching it up. The same thing with down here, like Shore Conference tournament, like Southern is number 5 in the state for wrestling and they never want to be in it because they, you know, I don't know if they, whatever, we're better or whatever. Like they would take away from everybody else because Southern wrestling is just different, even though they're a public. Like, again, back to the whole North-South type thing. It's different down here. Everybody does their own thing. We were talking about the other day in the weight room, and I thought this was cool. I wanted to get your take on it. Why in New Jersey is powerlifting not a sport?
North Jersey, Ron Panacini ran a.
I know they have like some club stuff.
They he used to run like a
like I look at my buddy from Texas, and that's like his second sport that he has to coach.
Florida,
right? And it's boys and girls. And he loves it, and he preaches about it. He's like, dude, it's awesome. You know, the kids wear the lifting shirts and the squat shit, and rapping. He's like, dude, you can only wrap the guys' knees like a minute before they gotta go. I just thought it was so cool, and especially as a football coach, like contractually for his teaching job, he has to coach 2 varsity sports. He had always done like basketball, but now he shifted to the powerlifting world, and dude, they go to a school, there's racks set up, they do, squat, bench, deadlift, and it's girls and boys. I thought it was so cool. And then I remember back to when we were at RBR, like my cousin Ed Donovan, like he did it. They had a club team, right? But it's, it's just one of those things. I was just curious, like, dude, it's such a good thing. And we don't have it.
Here it says the places that have specific powerlifting associations: Texas, Wisconsin, Missouri have it for high school. I thought Florida, but I guess Florida doesn't. And then it says Louisiana has it. Other states like Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Maryland, and Nebraska have it. Yeah, it would be actually. I think it would be great. I don't know why. Like USA Powerlifting gives money to states that want to do more competitions. That would be powerlifting competitions would be
so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
If we could run one as the Beasts,
I would run one. What the hell? Well, so Ron Panacini, who coached me at Powell Park,
probably different for insurance.
No, it wouldn't be any. I mean, you would have to get insurance for it, but it's the same company would do it.
Now, how would you get, like, how do you, like, what do you, like, are those like judges, referees, like, are they sanctioned?
Yeah, so like this guy Ron Panacini, who coached.
I remember the name.
Yeah, he was.
You spoke about him before.
He's a big powerlifting guy. He's like, that's what his thing was, and he used to host competitions.
It's cool,
but it was very local to Bergen County. To be honest, it was very. He would have it.
Not that you have a niche. Not that you have to have a niche, but look, like to do it and put it on, I feel like is kind of like you have to have a facility.
You need a place that will do it. Powell Park let him do it there.
Right.
So, because he's the track, he was the weights coach there. But he was powerlifting.
I just thought it was so cool.
He was USA whatever you need, right? USA certified or whatever.
Right.
And his son was like a big power lifter, like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, here we go. He's the New Jersey AAU powerlifting chairman.
Okay.
I don't know if he still is. Let me see how long ago that was. I mean, he used to be. I don't know if he still is, but like he was powerlifting. But you could definitely do it. I mean, obviously you could do it. Like,
I wish that was an option for some of our younger guys that don't want to do basketball or wrestle or winter track. Like, that would be great to have
especially in the winter.
That's what I mean, especially here where you got to be indoors anyway, like throw that in there. Now the bigs have something to do, not just, hey, you got to wrestle or, hey, you got to go throw in. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but throwing in indoor is not, I don't know. Is it the same as it is? Like, I don't know. We have a pretty good kid at Brick right now. I think he just threw like 55.
Yeah, I mean,
the shot.
That's good.
I mean, what do you do? Just the shot? Yeah, he's going. Where where did he just verbal to? Maybe Georgian Court. Maybe one of those. Yeah, but he threw 55, and like I don't know. I just said like I don't know what's throwing indoor. Do you even do like you can't throw? They don't throw jab indoor, do they?
No, they don't.
And then in talking to like obviously my buddy at Mount Olive, like they do all their indoor stuff at Drew. Down here they do it at Tom's River, like in the bubble or whatever. It's just not the same stuff, dude.
Yeah, I really think it would be great. I don't know that they would allow it as a sport, but you could host those competitions and you get the coaches involved in it, especially for the linemen.
If your O-line guy isn't coaching wrestling or doing something like that, like, hey, dude, go coach powerlifting. Or, for all these schools now that, like, you see guys with more strength-oriented guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, how many could you – yeah, I know it's weight classes and it's that kind of thing, you know what I mean? So that's – I just watched my guy in Texas do it, and he's like, dude, I love it.
Yeah, I mean it's you do.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know how can you not?
You do bench, you do clean and jerk, you do squat.
They do bench, squat, deadlift, no jerk, no cleans, no cleans. Yeah, I think it's like obviously it's the hardest of the four.
Right. So it's bench, squat, deadlift.
Bench, squat, deadlift. They can wear like the outfits and the shirts and all that other kind of stuff, and then like they have them as in like they're part of the quote uniform. Like they pass them out and collect them for each match or whatever it's called, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he said he's he's like, dude, you get 50 pounds more if with a good squat outfit or whatever it is.
Probably tightens everything together.
Yeah, I mean, like wrapping knees for the squat. He's like, dude, like you can't wrap them before a certain time because like you'll lose blood flow and they can't even get to the rack. You know what I mean? Like it's just a world that obviously like when you're not in it, you don't know it. But like some of this stuff was like, oh, that's cool and crazy, but I mean, look, he's also at a school with God knows how many, Forney High School outside of Dallas, like which is a big ass school. But I don't know, it's just cool.
Yeah, I think
I just don't know why Jersey was one of those things that just doesn't have it.
Yeah, they don't have it. They don't. I was just looking as we were talking and pulling up articles of what Ron ran. He really is the only person I typed it in. He's the only person that ran anything since the 80s. He ran them from the 80s to like.
Well, that's when that
he retired. Ron retired. They forced him to retire a few years ago. I mean, he's in his 70s. So, and he's not a teacher anymore. He retired from teaching probably 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, look, you know how that works. When guys retire from teaching, we see it with, Nympheus at Riverdale. Like, now you're not in the building. Like that, it changes some things.
Oh, yeah. Power through. That would be I think that would be great, dude. I think that would be like a great. If I had my own facility, I could just run them all, run it all out.
A lot of shit.
Yeah, like I said, if I was ever to do a facility, I'm looking for something it would not be what like people think. It would be like that kind of stuff, like speed, better performances in football, like focus on the skills,
right?
Like do some stuff like that, competitions that like draw people that want to come in, like a powerlifting. Like you can do a powerlifting, you can do, and make it different than just like, oh, this place just does speed and strength, or this place just, like, I mean, I think people do a really good job in some of those things, but it's so general.
Yes.
And my frustration as a parent, and you will find this yourself later on, because you know what to do. If you didn't know what to do, it really just doesn't matter. I say this all the time. If you don't know what could get you there, then you know what? Truth is, all these things are great. Right. I'm not knocking it because it's not great. They are good. It's just that when you listen to Tony Holler, when I watch these videos, there's a guy actually I want to send you that I think would be great to get on. He has a great, I think it's his TikTok or Instagram. I'll forward it to you. He's in my algorithm. I love him. He's like a big proponent of like, hey, you could do all these things. You don't need that much equipment, like, you know, to get fast. He's like, he pulls up all these old Russian videos and all these old like.
I love watching all the Adam Archuleta videos, dude. Like, I love that shit.
His stuff is good. McCaffrey's good, but McCaffrey's at like a whole different level. You know, it was a great one to watch. He's a famous German, I think it was German, shot putter. His name was, oh, fuck. If you type in the greatest, Ulf Timmerman, maybe was his name. I think that might be it. Anyway, he transformed himself. This is why people use him as an example. He transformed himself. He was slow. He was big. And he started doing all of the like kind of stuff that like now everybody does. Started doing all the stuff with the plyometric. You can find all kinds of old videos on him because I guess they videoed him everything he did. And he became.
I'd love to have Joe DeFranco on.
Yeah, Joe would be good.
Because he transitioned from that too, right? Like that big monster steroid type of. Now he's lickety split.
Where's he at now?
He moved to Texas when Cushing went out there.
He still has certain things that he likes, though. I've watched some of his old.
Absolutely, but I like now. He's also kind of like he's doing some videos now based off of like what a lot of these guys are putting out, and he's kind of either debunking or saying, well. Yes and no, you know what I mean? I don't know. He's just to me,
the health part too. He's become much
big
bigger
time.
On the health part.
I think he had like a little bit of a health scare himself, like whether it be a heart attack or something of that nature, where I think he needed to like change some things for him personally, and that kind of like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I just think he's going about it in more of like a mature approach, whereas back in the day it wasn't that. You know
Joe
what I mean?
would be great to have on. Joe would be great. He played when.
Dude, I still want Bill Parisi to come on and have his talk.
Bill would come on.
Dude, that's the academy that they do now. Is I just
you want Bill's number? I'll give you Bill's number.
I have it. I've reached out. I've tried numerous times and through different avenues.
What do you say?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I have it. Like there's no response. Like in any way I've approached it, and I'm still trying to like get people to either like talk to him or whatever. And be like, hey, answer this guy. Ask him. I would love for it because coming from you, it's probably different. I'd love to get Chuck Mound on too and have those guys talk.
I got to know Bill. We knew each other from afar. I got to know Bill much more when I took over Indian Hills.
Yeah, because he's in town, right?
Yeah, because before that, like, obviously he was the big dog, but I had my facility in the same town as his in Wyckoff. Right. So we kind of were competing. But I got to know him more, and his son, Dan, would come and do, like, a receiver work with me and stuff. Like, because I used to do stuff for I would do stuff for the 8th and 7th graders and 6th graders for free. So I would go and like I'd rent out the turf thing they had there, and they would come work out with me. So I actually worked out a lot of those kids before they were kids too. There's another group of kids. I give them shirts and I called it flow training, Franklin Lakes, Oakland, Wyckoff, and they would just come work out football stuff. I had the Grossers, I had. There's Parisi. I had all the Grossers. The one Grosser still in high school. All the Grossers. Parisi. I had.
Those kids are all playing, dude.
They all went on to college. They were all good athletes. You know when they had them.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I used to talk to Bill a lot, and he was just starting to do the Parisi Academy. So like I'd like to get that down here.
Dude, it's so cool to see like a day in the life of that. It gets awesome.
Dude, think about that. So now you're reclass. It's not just reclassing because like, so you can, you're going to some school, like you're going to school, you're learning more practical stuff.
Correct.
And that's schooling. And then you're training for 3 hours. I mean, like,
and it's
rehab. It's not all training.
And then, hey, no. It's the whole gamut.
Awesome.
Because it's IMG. Only you're not living there.
Small IMG. It's a small IMG. And you could do that down here because they have Alliance physical therapy down here in Middletown. and then it's a huge facility.
I mean,
And
look, you saw how they've kind of rebranded it, and it's like just the facility itself is totally different. You know what I mean? Like the one in Fairlawn, his home
Yeah, because
base.
Alliance took it over, so
Yep.
it's not. I think it's like powered by Parisi, but it's still
Correct.
Alliance, and Alliance redid the whole thing in there. So it's like, my belief is that if you do, from a training standpoint, best thing you could have is therapy and training, and then all the other stuff like if you could have the cold plunges and all those things in the same facility, much like you're really, the athlete can
One-stop shopping.
It's one-stop shopping for the athlete, right? I think that's that's what's, like I was saying, that's what's amazing about, it's very expensive, but what's amazing about how the new lifetimes are.
Yeah,
They
they
have
have
all that.
everything in there.
Dude, when I did the non-motorized, so I just have Troy do the turnover part. I don't even have him use his arms yet. I just have him use his legs. And so we got up to like 10.8 miles per hour. So we're just working turnover.
Wow.
And like, I'm like, what does that feel like? He's like,
Feels amazing.
no, it's like, he's like, it's crazy because if you're using your arm, he can't turn with his arm. He can't turn over the legs like that. Right.
Right.
But you're trying to get the legs to turn over more. And then eventually, obviously, the arms get in sync with it. But now you know what it feels like to turn your legs over more, right?
Right.
So it's all part of like that like nervous system. Like I'm trying to trigger their nervous system more, right?
Yep.
But it's amazing because you could do that in your regular, like your
gym.
your gym. Like you can't do that at Retro. You can't do that at what's the Planet?
Planet
Whatever.
Fitness, Crunch, all these.
You could do that there. You could, and then like he's too young. He's not going to go in a sauna or anything like that. But like when they get to be teenagers, you could take them into the sauna. You could take them into.
But they're also just familiar with all of that stuff because they've been doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, or I have to go someplace different for this. It's like, no, it's all right here, dude.
Look at how Dan Parisi, the kid, like he's in a lot of Bill's videos, how his understanding of training is. So he's getting the most out of himself. Like he's an excellent player, but there's no doubt that like all that stuff he was doing all the way through because his father
100%.
knows what to do.
It's just like the son of a coach. You know what I mean? Like a coach's kid, just going to understand that stuff moving forward.
Yeah, it helps him. So it helps him to be the best player he could be. And he is undersized. Dan Parisi's undersized.
100%. Yeah. He's like a under. Yeah,
he's not a big dude,
No way, bro.
So he gets the most out of him. And it helps him to perform at a really, really, really high
the highest level that he can.
And that's the thing that's changed. Like people are like, I saw this. Like I see people comment like, I can't believe how many like white kids can run the 100 fast or this now. Now, obviously, it still pales into the number of minorities that are winning the 100 blacks.
Right.
But there are more, and I can tell you the ones that are probably learn to train and develop along some of these principles for a long time. It's not about the one thing about training speed. It's like the cool thing about it is you're not going to get burnt out because you're only doing it a couple times a week. So unlike when a kid plays a sport, like let's say you wanted to be a great basketball player, you really have to shoot a lot of shots, right? So, or a wrestler, you really got to get in there and do the work. Like developing speed, you don't need to, you're not like just running them because that actually works against you. So they're not going to burn out because it's really a building blocks process. Whereas in other things, you could burn out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you said, all we're going to do is wrestle 7 days a week. Well, there are some kids that over time might say, wow, this is just because the sport requires so much work. And, but speed is different. It actually works against you. You know what I mean? You actually works against you. If you were to run sprints over and over and over again every single day, you'll end up getting slower. So it's interesting. So you're not going to burn out. So what ends up happening over time, you actually develop, and it's not like you turn around and go, oh, I hate sprinting. Like nobody hates sprinting. You only do a few of them. You know what I mean? Like who hates running fast, you know?
Correct.
Now, you know, but distance running is very different. But like guys who are developing speed, you could develop that without getting burnt out. And that's unique, and that applies to every sport, which is really like a balancing act. So like you could tell a kid like, hey man, I just need 15 minutes. And the kid's like, all right, you know what? I have 15 minutes. Like, you need me for 15 minutes? Sure.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, like we're going to go over here. We're going to be in and out 30 minutes. Cool. Like I don't get into too many fights on that. I say, hey, we got to go throw for an hour. Like as much as they love it, the first thing that goes in their head is like, I'm going to throw balls for a whole hour.
Yeah. Or what am I going to miss when I'm doing this?
Right. So that micro, you know, it's harder to do in some sports. Like, I don't know how you microdose wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can't. Like, it's hard. It's a hard sport. It's, you know, it requires so much time to get great and to be elite. Like, I don't know how you get around it. You know what I mean? Like, basketball, probably similar in different sport, but it's different skill set. But like, I don't know how you get around the time and effort into it. I think you can microdose baseball. I think you can microdose football, to be honest. Like, you know, diminishing returns running routes for an hour, to be honest. Like how long can you run 20-yard sprints fast? Not very long, right? So
right, because you're at that top peak, whatever, for a short burst, get the most out of it, and now you got to rest. You can't do that continuously.
Right, you really got to work a lot of hand stuff, non-movement stuff for a long time until you get to that. Like you could use the jugs, you could do those kind of things.
But that's on you to figure out how to do that.
You got to figure that out because you run a kid in routes for an hour. Like you do that a few times a week, he's going to say to himself, "What am I doing?" You know,
right?
And that's my argument down the line on 7-on-7. Like that's why I think league wise, like I think that you're going to see people say to themselves, how much 7-on-7 do I want to really play? That's what I think. Like like and you know, there's no bigger person that's a bigger advocate for it than I am. I do think there's great things about it, but I don't think you need to play a million games on a weekend. I think it becomes like when people play 10 games of basketball on the weekend, like, you know, like there comes a point where it's going to go the other way. Right. So, you know, and basketball has seen that, right? Basketball has started to reject now, like, hey, like you see all these guys talk about the European model, 3v3s. Like, let's do stuff that helps them get better, not like
go play games.
Destroy. Like, if you're going to play games, play pickup. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, it doesn't have to be formalized. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be whatever.
Play pickup, because playing pickup, you can manage yourself, right? Yes. You lose, you're sitting for 10, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it's self-managed. You know what I mean? Whereas games are not self-managed, because if you got to play 8 in a weekend, you got to play as hard as you can every game.
You have to.
You know, pickup, you're self-managed. Like human beings go and self-manage a pickup. I'm going hard, then I'm kind of going, you know, not as hard. I'm a little tired. I sit out a game. I come back. You know, I play 2 or 3 games, and they're quick. They're till 11, you know, or they're till 7, and you're quick. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 11 points. You know what I mean? Like, and it's on to the next game. So it's very different, very self-managed. I think that those things, as if people structure more organized versions of that to make it more manageable, that's better. But anyway, I got to go because I have to go to the bathroom.
See you, buddy.
I'd stay on for longer. Great show,
though. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Coach Colombo from Immaculata.
You got it. That sounds great. I like Coach Colombo.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's awesome.
He's
all right.
Awesome. Later.